So why the fuck is everyone freaking the fuck out about Gamergate again? Because, okay, you look to the right, you looked at feminists, and it was an online harassment, hateful group. You look at the actual people, like the people who actually, the gamers, the consumers, and it was the industry coming after people who just enjoyed the hobby. But I'm gonna do my best because, you know, the details are foggy, right? It started with Zoe Quinn in her game Depression Quest, which, I mean, looked like a walking simulator. Haven't played it, don't care. And at one point, she started saying just this weird, odd feminist takes. Like one of them being, oh, if you cheat on your man, if a man cheats on a woman, then it's considered rape because the woman wouldn't have consented otherwise to go on being with that man, which is idiotic because people agree that cheating is bad, and people agree that rape is bad, but are we really going to lump these things under the same umbrella? Like, is that where we're at? This is so dumb takes, but this was like 2016, so the point of the grift is to make the worst fucking take imaginable. And then when people on the internet, anonymous people, be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" You scream harassment. Like, that's the grift. That's what Anita Sarkeesian did. That's what Zoe Quinn did. But when she made that take, her ex-boyfriend at the time came out and said, "Oh, well, in this case, using your logic, you've raped me 7 times with the people who promoted your fucking video game because you cheated on me just to have them give you high ratings on the game." Now, did this and people look? Oh, well, look it on the internet and I was like, "What? Okay, yeah, that's." I mean, the root of the argument is stupid, and now here comes someone using that against you. I was like, "Yeah, that's." I mean, now you're just a fucking hypocrite. So, and did this start Gamergate? No. This was just, no one cared about this. It was just goofy online whatever bullshit. But people started siding with her ex boyfriend. I was like, yeah, Joey Cohen, why you gotta say some stupid shit? But these like articles in these media outlets that propped up the game, you would expect them to get side with the gamers and side with people online, but no, they formed ranks and they just started rapid firing articles saying gamers are sexist, gamers are dead, gamers are fucking coomers, gamers are this, that, and the other, and they were pumping out articles like rapid fire, and like they were copying each other's homework because you see articles that are literally the same, will have the same intros and everything. And I believe, was when Gamergate had started because you had gamers, people who probably weren't very socially apt. It's like you play games for escapism. It's a hobby, and I genuinely believe gamers are probably one of the most oppressed classes, right? Because if you look to the right, oh, you're a school shooter because you play GTA and run people over and you kill people. You look to the left, oh, if you play games, you're a sexist, misogynist pig and are probably racist because that's what intersectionality is. It's shoving all the fucking buzzwords you possibly can at people because you like hot women. And again, you look in schools and and girls are like, "Oh, why are you playing games? You should grow the fuck up." Right? And you look at other guys and they'd bully you for playing games, like social pressure, right? And I genuinely believe something that you do in the sanctity of your fucking home that nobody else interacts with. You don't interact with anybody else. You just do it in the sanctity of your own fucking home. And people are like, no, we need to know. We need to know why. You need to stop this. We need to enter your home and stop you from doing this. And nowadays, the idea is, oh, companies and social media sites need to work in tandem with the government to start spying on people who play video games. For some fucking reason, like, I say this all the time, but Ubisoft literally called the fucking police on their paying customers and bragged about it. And again, they just want government grants to do this. That's why they're doing this. Like, they're desperate to get as much free money as humanly possible. Right? So, this happened. So, back on Gamergate, the news media outlets start attacking the very consumers, the very people that they claim to talk for and talk about. And, again, people can take a lot of shit until you find, like, you can get away with a lot until you find just those few chuckle fucks that just wants to fuck with you back for no reason. It's like, oh, you fucked with me. I didn't start this, Is it good? Is it no? It doesn't make me the bigger person, no. But you started this. And that's the type of people you found in Gamergate. Like, the people who were going against these media outlets and all these people who went after, again, the market, the consumers, the gamers, right? And it was beautiful, right? Because now it didn't matter what political affiliation you were. Like, people from Tumblr, like the furries from Tumblr, that has just about every single fetish you could think of, like the type of fetishes that your goddamn grandparents have to look up. And people from 4chan, like legitimate, probably racist, legitimate people who, white supremacists, went hand in hand just to shit on these outlets, shit on these media outlets, like that claim to be for gamers. And this scared them to death, right? And this started the whole, you could argue this started cancel culture, because these people were literally calling up companies like, okay, you have your advertisement on this site, but the people on these sites are going against their consumers, like the very people that they claim to speak for. Well, are you sure you want to advertise on this? And again, I believe this was 100% fine at this point, because, why do you have a site and why do you have ads on it? So the people who read the site, the very people, again, that these outlets claim to be for, read the sites, and they see the goofy little goddamn advertisements on the side. But now people start calling these sites up. And again, they kept doubling down for some reason. It got to the point where Anita Sarkeesian actually made legitimate money off victimization. Right? I don't know. I haven't read much into Zoe Quinn. I assume she had too. Like, I believe at one point they were at the British Parliament or the EU Parliament at one point talking about this. So there's a lot of money to be had with victimizations. And you can see this, again, this is a tactic as old as time itself, screaming the victim while taking a bat and busting people about the head. Like, we know these tactics are used. Like, it's self-evident. But people have to pretend, again, people have to pretend that it's not being, again, if you were a feminist and you were against that, like the tactics that other feminists were using against their consumers, you were forced to shut the fuck up and to defend it at the time, because then they'd go after you. But nowadays, people are just not, like, you can get away with, calling people a sexist or a racist or this, that, and the other, right, in the 2016, 2017. But nowadays, that strat's been nerfed so many times. Nowadays, people would be like, okay, well, if not allowing you to change the thing that I like, that you don't even, like games you don't even play, but you know ideology. If me's telling you to go fuck yourself and to fuck off the things that I like, make me a sexist and a racist, then if it's that fucking easy, then sure. Whatever, pussy. But I think I've made a good summation. And again, people keep saying, "Oh, is Sweet Baby gonna start a new Gamergate too?" I'm like, no, right? Because Gamergate was still just a bunch of fringe people again who played a fringe hobby, which was played games, going after the media outlets. Nowadays, even the fucking normies are finding out about this, right? Like Asmongold, which has just some of the most mundane takes that anyone with two neurons to rub together and form a synapse would think. Like nowadays, and he has what 20,000 people watching him. Right nowadays, just the normies are going after it. Like they see these things happening in entertainment, even if it's entertainment they don't exactly partake in. Right? It's like you can explain to a normie that, oh, just having yet another remake of something that's old, like if you do that like 7 or 8 times, people will be like, okay, so are they gonna invent something new? And again, you point out the race swaps, you point out the uglification of female characters, of femininity, you point out the lackluster fucking stories, you point out just the vitriol that they dump in the stories, you point out the fact that costs hundreds of millions of dollars to make, and you point out that these overbloated AAA companies have like thousands of people, that they have whole committees dedicated into producing art because they want to mass produce art for some reason. You point things out to a normie and they completely understand, right? Even if it's people, even if they don't care about video games, don't care about entertainment, like if you tell people these things, they're like, yeah, I can agree with you. And see, that's why the thing that they fear, and by they, I mean major outlets, the same outlets that will use social justice and all this to slap you over the head with it, just to moralize with you. Like, the thing that they hate the most is just people coming together and talking. That's why in like 2018, 1920s, right, you had so many terms of service that just stopped normal fucking people on the cyberspace from using their words to express what was happening and what they think about it. But the problem with this tactic is people still think these things, right? But you're just not allowing them to express it. So it's like, well, what do you think people are going to do? Well, they're going to go to Asmongold. They're going to go to, you literally random YouTubers that talk about this, and they're going to come together and be like, yeah, we kind of agree with this. And it's going to spread that way, right? You're going to have Steam curator sites that that tell you what games say Sweet Baby has worked on, right? And you're going to probably other curator sites are going to pop up from other quote unquote diversity, equity, inclusion, like, companies or outsourcers that again they don't add anything to stories, right? They universally take away, but they're parasites. Like you use them as like a badge to keep you from getting sued if you're a company, right? Like just complete normies are figuring this out now, and that's the thing they fear the most. It's almost like the Bud Light situation, where just random noise, and they tried to suppress the whole Bud Light situation, but even legitimate normies were freaking the fuck out about it. So yeah, I think I made a good summation of what Gamergate was. Now, did people ride Gamergate just to be legitimate, sexist? Of course, right? People like that are a dime a fucking dozen. And I really like you know, the imagery they're trying here on YouTube. Like people like that are a dime a fucking a dozen, but I don't think just because bad actors exist, just random people exist, that the whole is rotten. Especially if it's grassroots, right? Especially if it's just a bunch of normies just looking at a thing and being like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. Why the fuck are we? Why do they allow this to happen? But that's what I gotta say about this. Peace.